Hey guys, so I only recently did a video where I was up in the morning early, had my hairy chest out, that one, where I talked about low testosterone and some issues I've had for a while with, chronic fatigue, that kind of stuff. I've talked about it a lot of times on this channel. Not so much in the past couple of years, I kind of just stopped making videos about my health and vlogs. I pretty much just uploaded videos of me playing guitar. But I just want to talk about it again because currently I've been told I've got to wait like a month and then rebook a blood test for testosterone. But part of me is like, fuck that. Why should I wait? Why not just call the doctor now and say, look, I've had 3 tests already. 2 out of 3 were low, and the third one was barely in your range, which is so vast. Like, it's not black and white that you're normal or not. It's like, what about age groups? What about, instead of looking at the average population, let's look at, do you have symptoms that would tie in with having low testosterone? Yes, you do. Again, I would prefer not to have to go on TRT, testosterone replacement therapy, because it can cause issues. I've already mentioned this, but your own testicles can shrink, and because basically your body's getting the signal that, oh, we've got all this testosterone coming in artificially as such, we don't need to make it ourselves anymore, so your balls shrink. But it's so dumb to me, like, doctors are the most intelligent people on paper, and some of them are. Again, I'm not trying to say they're all fucking dipshits, but the fact of the matter is, I'm feeding them everything on a plate, and they're like, nah, you're fine, you're alright. To recap, my first result, something like 6.6. It was 6 point something either way, nmol per litre, that's fucking low. The range is 8.6 to 29. It used to be higher, so the maximum for the normal range would be like 31, but there are a lot of people that probably don't have great levels of testosterone anyway because people don't get enough sleep, they don't eat optimally, they don't exercise enough, so that bracket is not based on this is what you can have to be optimal. This is based on the average human being. So again, bearing in mind the range is so big between 8.6 and 29, right now my latest result, which according to them is normal and I'm fine now and I don't need any help, they don't need to call me to follow up, even though I had 2 tests that were low even by their standards, nah, the third one's fine. I mean, 1 out of 3 is not bad. See you later, mate. Fucking so stupid. That range includes people who are fucking 90, 80, 20, whatever. 9.8, if I was 90, probably normal by that point, yeah? But for someone who's only 34, and I don't feel like 34 is that young anymore, to be honest, I feel like, fucking hell, I'm getting old, but for 34, 9.8, when the maximum range is 29, if you also have accompanying symptoms, it's like, yeah, obviously there's a fucking problem here. Can we sort it, please? But also, I was re-looking at, basically I had a lump that I found in my scrotum. So not on my ball, because, I mean, I was still anxious as fuck about it, but if it was on my ball, like a hard lump, I'd be like, oh my fucking god, I'm dying of cancer. And I do get health anxiety. But I had an ultrasound, and for a while I felt like I didn't really have an explanation. They just said, nothing to worry about, you don't have cancer. I couldn't help but to have this little doubt at the back of my mind thinking, I don't know what I've got. Like, they haven't really explained it, and how do I know that that result is 100% accurate and that it's not going to turn into something bad? Anyway, I realised the doctor, when they called me, they said it was a cyst, but I was like, I've looked online and, like, it just, from what I can feel and where it is, like, there's nothing online to say what the fuck this is. But I didn't realise, looking at the result, at the top, it said epididymis or something like that, cyst, question mark. That was before they did the scan, and then later on they confirmed the results. My right testicle is lovely and perfect, yeah? But my left one is a bit abnormal. 1 in 5 men, so about 20% of men, have something called a varicocele, which is sort of a collection of, I think, dilated veins, which can affect blood flow in that, which, given that testicles produce testosterone, if you've got a blood flow problem, that could be a cause, yeah, the varicocele. It feels sort of that they describe it as a bag of worms. So basically, I've got a bag of worms living inside my scrotum. Feels lovely, mate. Have a feel. Have a fondle. But also, something I didn't know I had, and it's small and they can get big, but for me, it's like, well, it's still like a sign there could be something wrong to me. But doctors are like, we don't know what causes any of this stuff ever, and it's not necessarily their fault, we just don't understand the human body. But a hydrocele is like a little fluid sac, like a little ball of air or fluid. That's on my left side as well. And third, this is what the thing I could feel was, which I'm like, this feels kind of hard, but also a little squidgy. What the fuck is it? It's called a scrotolith. I'm like, I'd never heard of this in my entire life. And there's very little information about it online, but basically what it means is you've got a little calcified cyst. So it's calcium. It's not apparently going to do any harm. There are varying opinions on whether it can contribute later in life to testicular cancer. And for some reason, for years now, probably because I do get pain because of the varicocele on my left side, I have this fear that I'm going to check my ball at one point, which you should do every now and then, but maybe I check excessively out of fear, and I'm going to find a big lump and my ball's just going to develop testicular cancer, and I'm going to have it chopped off or die. It's just like such a strong vision in my head that could happen, and I'm just worried one day it will. But it's just like, I've got 3 issues on that side. I'm like, hey, I've heard online that varicocele can cause low testosterone. There are people that have had a surgery done that's very straightforward. It takes like an hour. They go in and kind of knot above the veins so it kills off them and allows blood flow to be normal again, and the veins kind of like just die off, as far as I understand. And people have had that done and their testosterone goes up significantly. So I'm feeding this to them on a plate and they're still like, nah, I've never heard of that before. But I've been in doctors' offices before where they're like, let me just go on Google because I haven't heard of this before. Like doctors, GPs at your doctor's office where you're like, oh, I've got this. They have to know little things about everything. And if they've been in practice for many years, they might be experts on certain things. But they're clearly not with this for me, the people I've been speaking to, because it's like, hey, my testosterone's super low given how vast the range is, and I've got these 3 problems on my left ball, and the testicle is where testosterone comes from. Do you think there might be a link? Course there fucking is! Jesus Christ, man. Drives me nuts. So I'm tempted just to call them up and say, hey, I want to see a fucking doctor in person. I'm not going to swear at him, obviously. I'm not going to be this heated, because that won't go down well. But I need them to understand at this point, I'm not fucking walking away. You know those oil protesters who want to save the planet by gluing themselves to public motorways? Maybe that's the approach I need to take. Go in that doctor's office, hey doc, I want you to refer me to a hormone specialist who can deal with a varicocele and talk about low testosterone. Sorry, but you're in the normal range. Fucking glued to the place. I'm not leaving now until you refer me. So I might bring some super glue with me. It's got to be some strong shit, man. Glue my own fucking hands to the floor. But for anyone else who's been in this predicament, it's so frustrating because you know there's something wrong with you. You know, regardless, the reason you called him in the first place was, hey, I'm tired as hell, I've got no sex drive, I've got no energy, no motivation, I've got all the signs of low testosterone. Help! Yeah, you do have low testosterone 2 out of 3 times, but the third one's normal. See ya! It's like, you haven't fixed me. I'm still the same as I was when I called you. Help me properly. What's wrong with this fucking stupid system, man? I'm sorry if I seem a bit angry, but I think it's justified, and I know I'm not the only person. I know there are so many people that probably don't even do their research after because they're told, oh, never Google your health. Well, sometimes you have to. Sometimes you have to rely on yourself and your own intellect and your own ability to understand basic stuff. Be like, well, this is fucking obvious, isn't it? Yes, I do have a problem. And there are actual signs and it's clear. It's so clear. And so I can't give up at this point. I have to persist. Like a fucking fly just swarming round your head in the summer. You're like, oh, just fuck off. It's like, no, I won't fuck off. I'm going to keep buzzing round your head. That's what I have to do with my doctors in order to get somewhere. And lots of people have done this. Ellen, I'm not going to talk about her stuff, but she's had to persist with stuff with her health. And a lot of people will just give up because they're like, oh, the waiting times are ridiculous. You have to wait like a year. I was diagnosed with ADHD back in April. And I might be waiting until like February or more next year to get medication. So for now, I'm just still struggling on. What a ridiculous... Like, I've been diagnosed. Just give me the fucking pills, dude. Give me the pills. But you have to do this whole titration process where they monitor your dosage and check that you're not having too many side effects. You can get problems with your heart, where your blood pressure goes too high and all that stuff, so they do have to monitor it. But it's just like, what a state of the world we're in right now, where people can be suffering, and they're just like, hey, hang on, keep hanging on. Even if you're depressed, it's like, unless you tell them, I'm gonna kill myself today, they're like, you're gonna have to wait a year to get some fucking help. And I just want to remind you all, if anyone watching this is struggling with your health, physically or mentally, it's not your fault that you're born into this stupid world. It isn't a you problem. It might be, but a lot of the time, this is a mass problem. The fact everyone is on different drugs and treatments, often for their mental health, shows that we have a bigger problem with our society and the way our lives are being run. We work so hard, and many of us still can't afford even the basics. Like, obviously, when it comes to health, that's so important. And if you're poor, you have to rely on these stupid fucking systems. And obviously, outside of the UK, you've got insurance and that kind of stuff. But again, it all comes down to money. If you can't afford to have something done, sorry, you might just die. Like with this varicocele thing where I talked, they do this embolization where they like knot up the veins and they die off whatever. That takes about an hour. Guess how much it costs personally if you pay out of your own pocket in the UK at least? £3,500 to £4,000. It takes an hour. Fuck me. So I'm not gonna just throw money at stuff myself. I've done that with certain things before. Like, I shouldn't have to. I'm paying tax. Give me what I deserve. Give me some treatment and listen to me. This is the energy I need to take to the doctor's office, not like, oh, okay, if you say I'm fine, I guess I'll go and suffer again on my own. Like, I need to go, no, I'm not okay. Help me! Yeah? So anyway, leave your experiences below. I've been dealing with this stuff for far too long. The frustration is justified. The anger is real. And I just want to get fucking fixed, man. I just want to live a relatively normal life. I know at this point, I may never feel like a sort of normal human being. Because I remember before I got all these problems, I was the most athletic, not compared to everyone, but for me, no issues with energy, no issues with pain and that. And maybe part of it is just getting older. We get these different problems, yeah? Scrotolith, people get them. They're probably not going to do any harm, but again, for me, I just think 3 problems, I can't count apparently, on one ball and you got low testosterone. It's like, well, let's try and fix that with a little bit of surgery, yeah? See if that helps. Oh, it did. Brilliant. And it might not. Who knows? But that's what I'm going to say to them. I'll keep you updated. It'll probably be a month or so before I have any real news. And then if I did get referred to an endocrinologist, I believe I'd be waiting half a year to a year just to see someone. It's so stupid, man. But hey, I don't know what the solution is. There are too many human beings on this planet now. Thank you for watching. Take care of yourselves. Goodbye.